4, 3. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Tangent Podcast, episode 183 for the week of September 10th, 2018. It is September 7th. It is Spider-Man 4 PS4 day. I'm fucking stoked to talk about it. Yeah, there's a lot of excitement, a lot of energy happening. I've been playing it all day. I haven't been talking to anybody about it. I need to get it out there. But I am your host, Brian Thomas, alongside the Beacon of Light, Anthony Salvatore.
What's going on?
And the Bootless Wonder, Gary Hines. What's up? God Mike back there, Steven Sal.
Hello.
And we're the podcast for the site pixelatedpoints.com, where we talk about the games that we've been playing during the week in a little segment we like to call Under Your Thumb. We take a quick break and come right back with the drunken news. First, little housekeeping items for you. If you guys like what you hear and like what you see, and why wouldn't you, please go over to youtube.com/pixelatedpoints and subscribe to us, or go over to twitch.tv/pxl and hit that follow. Give us some subscriptions. Actually, go over to Gary's. It's Grizz_is, capital G, GRIZZ_IZ.
Doesn't have to be cap.
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't?
No.
I mean, I've seen a bunch
throwing
of.
that G, bro.
It's not
I've
case
seen a
sensitive.
bunch of Grizz_is.
They're all haters. They're all imitators.
They're all
There's only
imitators.
one.
Wow.
There's only one, and he's got a Master Chief
Logo?
logo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see at its worst. It's the slogan, bro.
Perfect. But we're going to get right into Under Your Thumb, and we're actually going to let Gary go first, because Gary has some Dauntless news for us, hopefully.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I play Dauntless pretty
Well-
much every single day.
You play Dauntless
A lot.
affiliated now. Let's just be.
Yeah.
Let's just be.
Yeah, so Twitch affiliate.
Yeah, there you go.
Twitch affiliate as of a couple nights ago. Thanks to Anthony. He's
I
a
gave
follower.
I did.
Anthony's a follower.
Was that the 50th, though?
No, you were not.
Wow.
But you helped out. And yeah, so I've been playing a bunch of Dauntless. They actually came out with a patch yesterday.
Okay.
And I will say that the patch, not so good.
No, why? What's going on with the patch?
There's some screw ups going on, and I think they're kind of fixing it. But people have been getting dropped out of servers. I had a glitch that I've never experienced before, where, so Dauntless, for those that don't know, it's pretty much Monster Hunter dumbed down. It's like a dumbed down Monster Hunter, and you go into all these behemoth fights, and right now you're seeing the video. You're at Ramsgate. This is kind of the home world where you can craft armor and weapons, and you're at the weaponsmith, like whatever.
Was it you that
Willis
said it was Sea of
Foreman?
Thieves mixed with?
Yeah, so it
Monster
kind
Hunter.
of looks like
It looks
graphically.
exactly like Sea of Thieves, which
Yeah.
we got to get back on, because apparently there's a ton of free stuff.
There's a new
Megalodon
DLC that's coming
Yeah.
too.
All right,
That I
perfect.
saw that. and
We
I'm
need to
like,
get back into that.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, the art style looks like Sea of Thieves. I will tell you, the gameplay is super smooth. That's the one thing, and I'm huge on gameplay, regardless of graphics, everything.
That's
It
gameplay
plays-
is king.
Plays very well. I like the way that the game feels. It's fun. It's a grind.
Yeah,
Obviously, as any other
I could imagine.
Monster Hunter
It's
type game is.
A farming type. You farming for parts.
Yeah,
and
so,
stuff.
I mean, update from last week. I still haven't got those two exotics that
Took forever.
I fought
was-
the Charog exotic in. I
500.
probably, last week it was 500 times. I fought him a bunch more.
Nothing.
Nothing yet. I got people that will jump into my stream, ask for help, and then they have one of those exotics, and I'm like, you motherfucker. Like, might kick him out of the party, but. But yeah, so they had an update, just kind of clearing some things up. It wasn't like a major update. We're still waiting on a cell vendor, and we're still waiting on these new weapons, which I did get to see.
Because they showed it off behind closed doors at PAX
At
West.
PAX West, they showed it off. Nobody even knew that they showed them off. I knew that Dauntless was at PAX West,
But they weren't
nobody,
really, like,
nobody
pushing
talked
it?
about the new weapons being seen.
Okay.
And so that was a major point, like, of this. It was like a DLC, like an expansion that came out, the Coming Storm, probably a month ago, where they introduced a new behemoth. They changed some things in the game, and they were talking about these new weapons, which is a ranged weapon, which would be the first. It's pistols, but
Like legit guns?
yeah, so
in
it's
this
like two
fantasy-looking
handguns.
world?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's two handguns, and nobody knew how they were going to play. Nobody's seen anything about them. We don't know when they're being released. We don't know anything. And then all of a sudden, some random guy was just like, "Oh yeah, I got to play with the new weapon. Here's some video of it." I got to watch 3 minutes of the new weapon.
I'm not. Well, one, that sounds really cool, but this looks just like what Fable Legends should have been.
Yeah,
right?
now you
Like
mention it. Yeah.
like I know you have the bad stigma around
Me
Fable
and
Legends.
the developers of Fable Legends.
Well,
don't
you
get
had
along
words,
very well. We did talk about that game.
it did
but
come-
like it looks amazing. It looks like the old Fable games do, right?
yeah, it does.
And it looks like it's an MMO.
Yeah, so right now he's picking where he wants to go. So this gameplay only has one island, but there's about 6.
Okay.
And then the last island is called the Maelstrom, where you're gonna actually have heroic versions of other behemoths, and then there's 3 in-game behemoths as well. And then all the Maelstrom behemoths at the end of the game on that last island. Every behemoth has its own armor and weapons. But before the Maelstrom, which is the last island, you can only rank up everything to level 5.
Okay.
Once you get the Maelstrom behemoths and you start fighting the heroic versions, you can rank up all that armor and weapons to level 10.
Okay. So,
So
you're
it's
really kind of
pointless to rank up anything before that.
okay.
So once you get to the Maelstrom,
That sounds a little meta to me, Gary. That sounds like it's a deep cut. I also hear Iron Thistle. Is
Iron
meta.
Thistle is meta.
I don't understand what that is. So I was listening to the podcast last week because I was absent, and you guys kept calling it Iron Thistle. I don't understand.
Iron Thistle?
I don't understand.
Iron Thistle
Is
meta?
there something that I'm missing, or is it
drug?
just?
No, nothing at all. So,
Because I was
Iron
like,
Thistle,
I have
we'll see
no
if we
idea.
see any here in the video, but Iron Thistle is just a material.
Yeah, that is that. Does that give you like the best kind of?
crafting.
No, it doesn't
Crafting
even
stuff?
give you the best crafting stuff. It's just like
It's just
it was
a-
one night I was playing with a buddy, and the first time I said Iron Thistle, I kind of lisped it, and then
You've run with it.
we ran
Ran?
with it for about 2 hours
Okay.
of just yelling about Iron Thistle, and I literally could not stop. Every time I watch that video on your YouTube of Iron Thistle is meta, I
You
die.
lose it.
I absolutely die. I think it's the funniest thing ever. But yeah, really all it is material. So as you're going around,
You're collecting
you're
it.
collecting certain materials, and certain materials will craft potions.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can bring certain potions into each fight as you go. But the patch that just came out, like I said, I experienced a glitch where I landed. Thank God I was fighting with somebody else, so we were doing a duo. And I spawned on the map, and I had no weapon.
So
Like
it's
it
just
didn't. Like you
gone?
couldn't see the weapon. The weapon
No,
didn't
literally
work.
had no
Yeah.
weapon. I couldn't jump. I couldn't dash.
So everything was just kind of fucked
I
up
was just running around with
buggy.
no weapon.
and trying not to die.
The only thing I could do was throw grenades.
Okay.
So the other guy I was playing with told him, "Good luck. I'm going to be on the outside," and I just threw grenades. But I've never experienced anything like that before.
Okay.
So on top of that, they've had people lagging out of servers, stuff like that.
So it sounds like
The patch did not.
the patch needs to be patched badly.
Yeah, and they've been tweeting stuff out. I mean, the cool thing about Dauntless is it's a small developer team, so they're really good with the community.
Well, I've seen you tweet at them, and they've actively like
Respond.
They
Respond.
respond. You know, they they look for the feedback. I mean, they literally like I'll look at my Twitch, you know, where I see like where are people coming from. Like they're coming from the Dauntless website too. You know, they're very good with the community. They just started. I haven't heard back yet, which I don't think I'll probably get, but who knows? They just started this Dauntless partnership program.
Cool.
Where you can apply for partner with Dauntless, and they'll push out, you know, everything that every time you know do anything, they're pushing it out, and they're really trying to build it up. Also, it's a free to play game. It's completely free on PC right now. And anything that you can put in as far as money goes
yeah.
is all cosmetic.
Now I have a question for you. You said it's free on PC. The video that we're watching, someone's clearly either using an Xbox
No, he's
controller.
using a controller.
Okay, so they just change it. It's not like this is on Xbox.
No, but they have hinted that
Could be
it's
an
coming
exclusive.
to console at some point.
Okay.
And somebody saw like a faint picture in the background of a TV at PAX that said 2018.
Okay.
this
so-
year. So
I think the
Is
game,
that tail just going crazy, or is it?
Yeah, so
cut
we
it-
cut
you-
the tail off.
Yeah.
So just
Sorry.
like Monster Hunter, you're cutting parts off. As you're ranking up your weapons, armor, it will tell you, okay, you need like he's fighting an Ember Main right now. So they'll say, oh, you need a tail of an Ember Main. And
Yep.
it's all RNG. So there's common drops, there's rare drops, and there's, you know,
Epic or whatever.
Epic drops.
Yeah.
so it's all RNG. And then there's also exotic weapons in the game where to craft those, you're going to need special type of drops. So instead of just rare drops, you're going to need a rapid break,
Okay.
which would be from the moment you start attacking, you have 2 minutes to break that part.
Okay.
Or,
It's like an achievement of
yeah, or you'll see the behemoth will become enraged while you turn all in red.
And so, like, if you chop it off, then it's an enraged
So it'll be like an enraged tail.
Okay.
So once you start getting into the exotics and the higher level gear, you have different ways of fighting things.
Very nice.
Yeah, so I mean, I play it pretty much every day right now. Still loving the grind. Still fun.
Which you can see over at twitch.tv/grizz_is.
Capital G.
Capital G.
I'm just, just put a G. But yeah, it's fun. It's a fun game. I don't play pubs anymore. Like I refuse to, so I do every match private, unless I'm playing with people in my stream.
You see, you said I don't play pubs anymore, and I was like, oh, I didn't know you played PUBG.
Yes.
But you're talking about Publix.
So the behemoth scale. So if you're by yourself,
It's probably 'cause you
it
get
has so
some
much health.
weak ass guy walking
Every
in there.
single person you have in your party can go up to 4 people.
Gotcha.
The behemoths have too much health when you have
So
4
now
people.
you're pry behemothing right now. Is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean,
You're not
I'll only
pry.
Solo tanking.
I will only fight something with other people if they're
Your
they're
skill.
coming from Twitch and they need help with something.
Okay.
Other than that, that's about it for Dauntless. I mean, there's not much else going on.
Sorry that the patch is kind of fucked up. Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully they fix
that.
it. I mean, I've been seeing them tweeting
Well,
stuff out.
it's still beta, right? Oh,
I mean, yeah. So I should probably say that the game is still in open beta right now.
Fair enough.
So,
Fair enough.
but it is free.
But you're also playing another game called Immortal Unchained.
Yeah. So everybody's been talking about Spider-Man today. Like I don't know what everybody's talking about. Today for me was Immortal Unchained Day.
Okay.
So I saw gameplay of this game a long time ago,
Okay.
or a trailer or something like that, and then it fell off the map. I had completely forgot about it,
it's just released.
and then all of a sudden this morning I literally woke up and saw a tweet like launch trailer.
And you were like, oh shit, I forgot about
wait.
that game.
Like this game looks pretty cool.
All right.
Um,
So for those of you at home that can't see the video, the audio listeners, this looks like a third-person shooter. Can you go in a first person, or is it just strictly third?
It's third person.
So it's a third-person shooter, similar to, like, you can see it's an action RPG because you can see all the damage that you're doing to all these enemies, and you're going through this
Yeah, so
semi
there's 6 different worlds.
labyrinth. Oh no!
Correct, so this
boss
is a
fight.
boss fight.
Yep.
It's Dark Souls. It's Gun Souls.
Gun Souls, perfect.
And you'll see every time the guy shoots,
Yeah.
stamina goes down. So instead of having, a melee weapon, it's all about shooting.
Do you have bullets?
Correct. So
Okay.
you have to pick up ammo off of enemies. You can run out of ammo. There's also melee weapons that you can find. That's kind of like a last resort. The melee weapons themselves don't do a lot. Like,
So I've
it's not focused on that.
I have a question. So you shoot and you lose stamina. Why is shooting causing stamina?
Takes
Like
energy.
maybe the
it's-
recoil
It's
Just
trying to make
make it
it like Dark Souls,
okay.
pretty much.
All right.
Because in Dark Souls, you swing.
It's an element, a mechanic, I guess. That
Correct. The interesting thing of it is you can lock onto enemies. Like you'll see here in the video.
You got the Z targeting going on.
Yeah, you literally just lock on and then you can fire. The interesting thing is, you can choose between hip fire and aiming. And if you're hip fire, there's recoil. So like just because you're locked on an enemy doesn't mean you're going to do all that damage to them. You have to depend on recoil, depend on what weapon you're using. There's pistols. I've only used them like an assault rifle and a pistol, but I'm guessing there's other different weapons, and then there's also like abilities towards these weapons that will do like an ultimate shot, stuff like that.
Cool.
And the interesting thing for it is if you lock on an enemy and you actually press left trigger or whatever you're using to aim on that enemy, you can pick kind of like Fallout
Where
what
you
body
wanna-
part you want to go after. So you want to go after their head, their leg, whatever.
Pro tip
So-
on this character: you got to dodge him and then shoot him in the back.
Correct. So it looks like this boss has a weakness on his back, and so you have to pick apart enemies. So I can imagine like later on in the game, if you're like trying to get a certain part, or if like maybe like you're fighting a boss and you're like, okay, his leg's his weak spot.
You got to
I
go
gotta
and.
aim for that leg.
Are you using a controller for this? Because you mentioned
This
the
is-
left trigger.
No,
Now, when
PC.
left trigger, you're talking about the left click.
it would be right click.
Okay, sorry.
Right click on
Wow.
PC.
It was 50-50.
Hey,
You got a 50 shot.
you got to take your shots.
But yeah, it literally is Dark Souls.
Okay.
Which isn't exactly like it's not a bad thing.
For good.
It's interesting. So to me, it's very,
It's definitely different for sure.
It's very different, having the gun. Like I love shooters.
So does bullet management actually play a huge element?
Correct. So
into
each
it?
enemy will drop ammo. Like the enemies have guns. So
Okay.
like
So you farm them for.
so you farm them for it. They have, instead of souls, it's called tiny bits that will fall down. You die, you lose them, you gotta go back. It's just like that.
The
But-
souls, if you will.
The souls of it. And yeah, so I mean, I'm only like 40 minutes in, but it very
Did you beat that
reminiscent.
boss?
I haven't beat any boss yet.
Well, I have full confidence that you'll take
probably
take
will.
down that boss. No
I
problem.
probably will.
seen the
Yeah,
video.
no, I'm pretty decent at these type of games. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm interested in it, because I like shooters, I like Dark Souls, and the concept of this is it's a small developer too.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing and the game was like on launch. It was like $40
So did you
Steam.
buy this for $40?
Correct.
Okay.
on Steam, but it is on PlayStation, Xbox. So if Spider-Man's not your cup of tea,
And NBA 2K19 is not your cup of tea.
that got pushed back, right?
Kinda, depending on where you're buying it from.
But yeah, I mean, I literally just started it, so I can't tell you a lot about it, other than it's gun souls and it's kind of futuristic, and yeah, we'll see where it goes.
Very cool. All right. Well, you don't have any other games, right? Those are just the two that you played this week?
No,
All right. Well, I'm going to speak very quickly on Guacamelee. I'm still enjoying the hell out of it. I feel like I'm probably say about 80% done with the game.
better than the first one.
It's
The same thing.
It's very much the same thing. The puzzles, the puzzle platforming stuff
Yeah.
is harder. It's much, much harder
Okay.
at this point. You learn a lot of different moves, like in Castlevania Symphony of the Night and other Castlevania games. You can learn to run up a wall, and now you can dash across. So you can run all the way up, you can dash all the way across.
Yeah.
So there's lots of different mechanics that incorporate one into fighting and two into the puzzle platforming, which I talked about this 2 weeks ago, that I don't think there's really a great Metroidvania-esque game that uses special moves. Like there's an uppercut
It's
that
like
you
if
can
you
use.
use like Hadouken from like the uppercut from to grab a ledge.
Yeah, so that way you can use it to traverse platforms, but also in combat
Have
you're
you seen The
supposed to use
Messenger?
it. Yes, I have. I'm very
digital.
kind of like
Ninja Gaiden.
if I'm gonna get the Messenger, I'm gonna get Dead Cells before that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they look so
Gotcha.
similar. I'm like, I don't know.
It's not my cup of tea, but
The Messenger
yeah.
does look pretty
it
dope.
look pretty good. But yeah, sorry. I just
No,
kinda
it's
threw you off.
totally fine. It's in the same kind of
Realm.
vein, if you will. But yeah,
Guacamelee is fucking awesome. I love the first game.
yeah. This one I unlocked the giant chicken outfit, so I'm just running around as Juan in a giant chicken outfit, and just killing it.
Sounds about right.
So yeah, I'm really enjoying that. And that game actually kind of fucked me up combat-wise, because today I got the little game you might have heard of, Spider-Man 4. The combat is not similar, but punch is square. So
Yeah.
it fucked me up big time. So Spider-Man on the PS4, one, it just looks gorgeous. Like Steve showed.
Well, you
showed
got.
the
I mean,
Let's-
explain your. I mean, you kind of have the upgraded.
Well, to be fair, yes, I have a PS4 Pro. I just
Yeah,
upgraded.
like this guy's costume looks like shit.
It doesn't look well. You also have to remember we're watching like 1080. We're not watching
4K.
We're not watching 4K here. So I have a 4K monitor. I have a 4K TV. I've got a 4K. I've got the PS4 Pro. I'm just. It looks gorgeous.
I didn't see that many puddles though.
There's. You know what? I will tell you this. I feel gypped on the puddles, Gary. I feel
Where
like
the
there,
couldn't
fuck
see
are
his
all
4K
those puddles
puddles?
at?
there needs to be more puddles, and I don't appreciate it. The first thing that you kind of noticed, and Anthony, you played this game.
I did.
How
yes.
many hours are you in?
You actually further. Well, I didn't.
Well, I took the day
yeah.
off.
So I got it at I think 9 last night. I am
digital?
no physical.
Oh,
They
must be
released
nice.
it. Holy shit.
Let's not give away spoilers.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Yeah,
I'm
please
trying to
don't.
think of. You have to. Shit.
You know what? Doesn't necessarily matter. You said I'm further along. Than
I was
you.
gonna.
That's
I
fine.
can't. So you go to the lab. and he fails.
Okay, gotcha. I'm right there with you.
So you're seeing a bunch of different enemies on the.
Which is exactly where I wanted to
Fist.
kind of talk
Yeah.
about, because right now, for the audio listeners, you're not seeing this, but visual, you're watching the intro cutscene basically. So you're seeing Fist, Scorpion, Vulture. You're seeing a bunch of the different enemies that you have kind of newspaper clippings of.
Sick toast.
This, yeah, it was a nice toss, right? He just fucking tosses the bread, lands right into the
It's like
toaster.
he knows exactly where it's gonna go.
But this game is 8 years after he's become Spider-Man, so it's not an origin story, which I fucking love. So
Thank God.
yeah, it's always that kind of. It's
He's
almost
a
very.
matured Spider-Man.
It's very similar to Arkham Asylum. When you first start like I didn't really think about this when I was playing Arkham Asylum, but it's not an origin story. He's Batman. He's been Batman forever. There's a well-established,
Good movie.
and it treats the audience like they're fans. You know what I mean?
You know this character.
Exactly. And that's exactly what Insomniac does with Spider-Man on the PS4. You know this character, you know some of the villains, hopefully, but they do a great job of explaining who the villains are.
We don't get that first villain that he ever.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, but the first time that you start swinging in this game, it brought a smile to my face. And I just watched it again, and I smiled again like a little fucking kid.
Brian,
It is fluid as fuck.
a little while ago, you left the house to go get something.
Beers.
Yeah. I told you I'd be web swinging around, and I didn't stop.
Yeah. Because
The first time I played the game, I've only played
okay.
20 minutes maybe.
Yep.
Didn't do anything. All I did was swing around the city,
Yep.
and
And-
it's fucking awesome.
It's amazing. So it does take a little time to get used to it, and the more you play, the more fluid you are. So when I was first playing, I was like, oh, people keep saying how fluid this swinging motion is. And then it took me like maybe 20 minutes to really
hit to X, like to get the speed
to understand
boost,
where the speed boosts are, what buttons I should be pressing, and you can't just be swinging into the sky. If there's no buildings around you, you're not swinging.
the web
you're
doesn't.
falling.
Yeah.
So the web doesn't shoot. So you have to be close to a
Yeah,
building.
so that was one of the big things from like Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, you could just swing anywhere. It doesn't really
You
matter.
could be above the Empire State Building, and you're still like,
Like on an
what are you
airplane,
touching
something's
to?
traveling.
Also, so while you're swinging through this world, you might realize that this is probably the most faithful recreation of New York City I've ever seen.
All the
One,
landmarks are there.
because there's a segment. It's a checkbox game. There are tons of little things to collect. You know, you collect backpacks for Spider-Man that he just kind of left while he was in high school. He's like, oh, I left these in high school. I totally forgot about these. And now you're kind of looking for them. You have these towers that you unlock that opens up a map, very similar to Assassin's Creed.
Gives you crime activity and
Exactly. So then you can hear the police radio. So you're basically opening up police radios into your earpiece, so that way you can hear like, oh, there's a robbery in progress on 48th Street, blah, 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 blah. And you go to 48th Street. But there's also landmarks that you can take photos of. And they encourage you to do that, so that way the more crimes that you stop, you get crime tokens. The more landscapes or landmarks you find, you get landmark tokens. And all of these tokens work towards upgrading your Spidey tech and your Spidey, your
Suit,
outfits and
yeah.
your suits and everything, basically. So that's how you gain overall XP, which then levels you up and unlocks moves and skill trees and stuff. But to upgrade your tech, you really have to be doing these. They're not side missions. They just
exist within the world.
They just exist in the world. And the best part about it, so J. Jonah Jameson isn't the editor in chief of the Daily Bugle anymore. He's doing a podcast and he's doing a radio show.
Oh yeah, because he makes the joke. He's like, every other podcast is shit except for mine.
Yeah, so he's basically always making fun of Spider-Man, and
Yeah, he's
being
listening.
hip with the times.
He has people call in and be like,
so he has people call in. So if you do something, if you save somebody from being kidnapped in a trunk, a wife will call in and go, "Oh, Spider-Man saved my husband. He was going to be kidnapped, or I was getting mugged, and Spider-Man stopped them." Yeah. And J. Jonah Jameson is always like, "Oh, well, Spider-Man is the reason why they try to, he
he's
forced
not for
them."
the people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
He
not
wouldn't
for.
be doing that if
Yeah,
there
exactly.
was no Spider-Man.
And so there's lots of really great lore building in this game. And I will say, as a Marvel fan and a Spider-Man fan, you will not be disappointed with all of the little Easter eggs that are hidden around the world. That was something that
graffiti on the
totally
buildings and
took
shit.
me by surprise. There's graffiti. There's some buildings that I'm like, oh, holy shit. Like, that's fucking super cool. And some of the things you just kind of find organically.
Well, it is a Marvel game.
It is it's Marvel's Spider-Man.
Yeah. So
And,
that
it
hints
doesn't-
at a lot of what is probably there.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Conan, right there. Was
It
that-
doesn't tie into the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, so I'm sure it's its own thing, but because it's a Marvel...
Yep. I'm really hoping that whatever that Avengers game that Crystal Dynamic and Square Enix are doing kind of ties into this, because I think that would be fucking really dope. But so I don't really know where to go from this. Like, so we talked about web
Well,
swinging, right?
I think
I guess
combat.
combat's
Combat. How is
probably
it fair to... So, the first thing I asked, combat, Batman, Spider-Man.
Batman is way more fluid. But, Gary, I'm glad you brought that up, because in this game, the combat is exactly the same as Batman Arkham Knight or like even Assassin's Creed, right?
Yeah, it's like slightly. I guess I had the same problem I think you did when you were talking about it, which was the bullets. They do a shitload of damage, and like in the beginning, if you're not same with like the web swinging, it takes a little bit to get used to.
Oh, for sure.
Batman's it's immediate click. This is like to get the combos, especially like the aerial where you hold the square down, he punches them up, and
Yep.
you get the aerial combats. Once you get the hang of it,
My biggest thing about the combat is with Batman, or at least in Batman Arkham Knight, Batman can be 25 feet away from a character, and all you have to do is press square or whatever, the attack button, and he flies over there somehow. And you would imagine Spider-Man, being the most acrobatic superhero, can do that no problem. However, the way that this game works is if you need to get across the ground, you need to kind of pull yourself with a web towards those characters. And usually the characters with the guns are on the outskirts of the battle, shooting at
they're
you.
the furthest back from and like you said before, I think we had the thing like you try to shoot the web at them, and sometimes like if they say with the camera angles, you don't always hit the guy with the
The
weapon.
camera angles are not the best in the game. Sometimes I feel like it's too close to Spider-Man. I want it to be pulled back just a little bit. But when you need to get to you need to get to enemies that are pretty far away, you need to shoot your web at them in hopes that it hits that one person you're aiming at, and then you have to pull yourself close to them and then attack. It's just a lot of button presses for something that should be a hell of a lot more fluid for a Spider-Man game. At least that's what I've come to learn so far.
I think in the beginning I had you can kind of see the video if you can't, like just getting used to in the beginning was a little bit more difficult.
Are you playing it on the normal
Yeah.
settings? Because it's weird that there's 4. It's like
friendly,
it's friendly neighborhood Spider-Man,
casual, is it?
casual, and then there's the amazing Spider-Man, and then there's, I think, spectacular is like the
Yeah, I picked whatever the
like-
default.
yeah.
Combo meters, that type of stuff.
There
Yeah.
is combo meters. So with Batman, it's like every 5th or 8th hit, you could do like a combo finisher. There are finishers in this game as well, but you have to build up your meter. So when you're building up your meter, you can use it to heal yourself,
Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird.
which is a little weird. It's just like, oh, you can just heal yourself whenever, as
Yeah.
long as you have some sort of meter
So,
build up.
Spider-Man just has a healing ability?
Yeah. Which
Well,
is
use like like it'd be like
yeah, it's almost as if you're building up a potion.
because you have to like find somebody to fight to heal.
Yeah. So I thought that was
Batman would build it up and then break somebody's neck.
well, that's kind of
Yeah.
what Spider-Man does now. So also I don't know if because you're fighting people on skyscrapers and stuff, and if you just knock them off the edge, it's like that person's dead. Like Spider-Man just fucking killed that dude.
But, I mean, I think Spider-Man kills people.
He shoots the web.
I don't know if he. Well, you know what, Anthony?
Well, yeah.
Maybe he does. Maybe he just shoots his web. Although I will say this. Sorry, I want to get back to the combat because I feel like this is really important. So in Batman, you get the little hey, someone's about to attack you, and then you hit the
Spidey.
dodge button. The Spidey sense in this game does the same exact thing, but for whatever reason, I just feel like it's not as prominent. And you really have to be on your toes.
because you don't know.
You have to be keeping an eye out on where all of the enemies are, as well as if someone's going to attack you, because the camera angle stays pretty close to Spider-Man. I feel like it needs to zoom out a little bit so you can see a lot more of the battlefield. But once like if you're in the middle of a combo, you might not even see somebody behind you or to the left of you that's going to attack you. So you really need
it'll give you
the Spidey sense thing happening. So you really need to be paying attention to. Okay,
you kind of see this is a pretty good example.
Yeah, this is a great example because you can see this person's pretty good.
At the beginning of the game, I would say,
yeah. I got my ass kicked here. But you really need to be paying attention to Spider-Man as well as everybody else in the area.
Because the one thing I really liked about Batman games and the combat that they had is that you couldn't button mash.
No.
Right? So that was the one thing, like, if you wanted to keep your combo going. You could obviously sit there and just, like, punch.
To get through
whatever.
the game.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to get your combo up, like, it was timing.
Yeah.
It was, like, all timing. Like, okay, now your meter's red. That means
you can break somebody's arm or something.
Yeah, you got to dodge this or do this. My only concern with this is that, like, quick time events.
I have not come into any sort of quick time events. There is some, but nothing to the point where it's hindering your movement. So that was the big thing when they showed it off at E3. It was like, oh, here's this skyscraper. You got to press.
Big cinematic event.
I haven't had that happen yet. I haven't had anything crazy like that. The quick time events that I see is, like Anthony was saying, once you unlock the radio tower, it says like, hey, there's a car chase happening on this, whatever.
When you get on top of the car.
You try and stop the car, so you're chasing the car, right? And then you get the car, and then...
I didn't expect that either, though, when I first did that.
Yeah.
It's just like, I got to hit fucking square, and then it's just like, I got
So you take out all the bad guys from the car, and you try to stop the car, so then you have to smash square to stop the car. Or like if you need to lift something heavy, you're pressing square a lot. But I'm not necessarily seeing a whole lot of like cinematic, like you're running up a building and then you need to press triangle.
like slow motion,
Yeah.
Quick time.
There's no quick time events like that I've kind of run into. There are some like, there's a bad car accident, save the people from the burning car. So at one point I had like pulled the door off of somebody and I had to press the triangle button to pull them out, but then Spider-Man jumped up and he noticed another person, so you have to like aim with the right analog stick and bring it to the person and then press the trigger. Yeah. But like things like that, I'm like, I guess that kind of makes sense, but those are all like
not required.
It's not super cinematic. It's more of just this quick little mini thing that you did.
Yeah, I mean, one thing because if you think about, what was that Batman game? Was it Origins when he fights Deathstroke?
Yeah, that was an amazing but
that was very cinematic. And it was very quick time event.
I don't remember it being quick time. I'll take your word on it, but I don't remember it being quick time event.
It was, yeah. I mean, if you look back at it,
I believe you. I just don't remember.
that is the one thing that I'm concerned about. Mm-hmm. Everybody's like going to be all hyped about
that
it's Spider-Man, and it looks great. The movement seems very fluid.
Yep. Once you get used to it, it's...
Combat...
The combat is as of right now, it's the one thing that I'm not extremely impressed with.
But I also think it's different. So maybe give it a week.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. I've only been playing for like 5 to 6 hours. So.
I think it might get better when you level up and get some of the additional, the gun people, you can grab the gun.
That's true, too.
How's his jokes?
Amazing. I've actually laughed audibly at some of the things that he said. Like
Spider-Cop.
My friend Connor tweeted out earlier today. He was like, "Oh yeah, Spidey Cop is great."
He narrates it to the girl, and she's like, "Stop."
Yeah, but when you jump on top of a car and they like swerve out of the way, and he's like, "Jesus, I'm definitely not giving you a 5-star rating." You're like, "Oh, that's great. It's like Uber." Yeah. So there's lots of like really small little things that he says that you can completely miss, but a lot of like
he gives even when he fights the opening battles, just the jabs at like the Kingpin.
Yeah, like Wilson Fisk's. He's
8
always
years I've wanted to catch you. He's like, "Oh, sorry to disappoint."
And that's the quick time event that you'll see, right? It's just like
It's
you just
nothing.
jam the square button to lift this heavy object.
I mean, I give it a 1 out of 10, bro.
1 out of 10.
No puddles.
No, I'm telling you
We
right
haven't-
now.
we haven't seen. I mean,
I haven't seen too many puddles.
but the water.
Fucked up.
Although I will tell you this, what I thought was actually really interesting was it was like go visit Aunt May at this center. I was like, all right, cool, but it was the middle of the night, so I went to the center, and then before the cutscene started, or not the cutscene, but before it like let you go into it, you were sitting there as Spider-Man, and he's like, oh, you know what? Aunt May's not here yet, but I'm pretty hungry. I could use a bite. And then the screen dips to black, and then it pops back up, and Spider-Man is just literally checking his phone, and he's eating a bagel at night. And then it slowly starts progressing towards the day, and then
Cream
it's
cheese or butter?
cream cheese. And then he was,
Sure.
I was just like, that's a really cool little touch that you don't really see with very many.
It's like in Grand
Like
Theft Auto,
superheroes.
like
It's
you're
like
driving all these
everyday
cars
life.
around when you have to get gas, bro.
Yeah, that's, you know what I mean? It's little things like
No
that.
cars need gas? Like, this is crazy.
Also, there's so many great Easter eggs. It's not even just like the big ones that you're thinking about, but there's so many tiny little things that it reminds me a hell of a lot of Arkham Asylum.
The city is like,
where you're looking through and
Find a cell.
you find a cell and you're just like, whose cell is this? And you're like, oh, wait, this is Clayface or Calendar Man or whatever it is. There's lots of great little things like that.
Yeah, that was awesome. Was it Arkham City?
Which
Calendar
one?
Man?
Yeah, where you had to like go
change-
during the day. Like, so it's like he's like,
it's a
oh, this
riddle.
is
It's-
St. Patrick's Day.
does he make like it's a riddle out of it, though, don't you?
He ends up asking you like questions and things like that, but you have to then
You
go
literally,
do
I would
those
go
objects.
into my Xbox, change the date and time on my Xbox, go back to him.
Oh, to see what he says.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Gotcha.
he would do like little different things each day.
That was cool.
All
All right, so 1 out of 10.
1 out of 10 for Spider-Man. I definitely give
Lack
it a
of
red.
puddles.
Lack of puddles.
It's not
It's
gonna
not.
cut it.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to cut it. I mean, it's not good at all.
Can't hail a taxi in New York.
So pick up Immortal.
Immortal Unchained for sure. I mean, I feel like there's so much more that I can say, but a lot of it is spoilery. You know
Ye-
what I mean? There's lots of great
Yeah.
things that I would
Alright, give it
rather
a week.
just. I'd rather give people
So, like,
the chance to explore it on their own,
Give it a week.
and we'll
give it
come
a-
back. We'll come back next week, like Gary said. We'll give it a week. We'll come back. We'll give you our full review, just big throbbing review of Spider-Man 4. That's what I'm talking about, Steve. Don't give me those looks.
Spider-Man.
I've got a big throbbing review for
Spider
you.
senses are tingling.
don't know
Anthony
what's
knows.
going on right
Anthony
now.
knows what's to say. And with that, I'm going to take a quick break and come right back with the drunken news. So, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody else, stick around. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Tangent Podcast, episode 183 for the week of September 10th, 2018. We're getting back into the drunken news. We have 6 items for the drunken news, but first, Steve's going to hit us with that beautiful intro. Steve, show the people.
Because I am good at 3 things: fighting, screwing, and reading the news.
And reading the news. Perfect. Let's get into it.
Classic.
If you would like to read the news, you can, but I will.
The highlighted points.
I will take it if you.
I fucking killed it last week.
You did. First piece of news that we have comes from comicbook.com. Robert Workman writes, Yoshi's Crafted World leaks following Nintendo's Direct delay. So we should probably mention that Nintendo was planning a Direct this past Wednesday, but an earthquake, 6.7 on the Richter scale. Are you telling me to fix my mic? I know how to work this mic, Steve. I know how to
Work
I know
into
how
it.
to speak into it. I know where to hold it, where to place my mouth ever so tenderly. I know how to work this mic.
I don't know about that.
Don't you tell me to don't go. Anyways, so the people of Japan got hit with a 6.7 on the
R.I.P.
Richter scale.
R.I.P.
I think actually 9 people died and there was
The,
upwards to 60 people injured.
I think the end sign fell off Nintendo's.
The end sign did fall off of the Nintendo building.
That
So
was all I
R.I.P.
saw in the news.
was
Not
that-
the 9 people died. Nintendo
Nintendo.
sign.
Yep.
Damaged.
building damage.
But so they decided, out of respect, to delay the direct almost the day, like hours before it was going to launch. So with everything, third-party developers, things like that, things got leaked because people were going to update their websites. So with the leak, they didn't announce anything, but all of these other websites got updated with the new stuff that was supposed to be announced. So one of the things from Good Feel, the developers there, they're making Yoshi's Crafted World, which is the Yoshi game that we saw for the Nintendo Switch at E3 or 2 E3s ago, whatever the fuck it was. It looks gorgeous, but it's going to be called Yoshi's Crafted World. They showed an official logo on Nintendo's website before people saw it, and then they took it down. So there's a few things that are coming out of that. So there was the Yoshi's Crafted World, and then turn-based strategy game Civ 6 is headed to the Switch this November. And this comes from NintendoLife.com. Ryan Craddock over there, friend of the show.
Good man.
Good man.
Personal friend.
Yep. Civ 6, a turn-based strategy game developed by Firaxis Games.
Already screwing up.
They make fucking EA stuff, right? They're basically the sim creators.
Maxis?
I don't know. You know what? I was thinking Maxis. Sorry. Will be available for the Nintendo Switch this November. It has been confirmed. So I want to say it's the 18th, November 18th. Why is that date sticking out to me, Steve? 16th.
Look at the bottom.
16th.
No.
No, it's not. It's not an EA game. Thankfully. So Sid Meier's Civ 6 is going to feature Play Your Way, a path to victory. The one that you determine, become the most scientifically advanced civilization, dominate through sheer military power, or become foremost destination for the cultural arts. You
just have to be America.
You know what? Sure. If you want to...
During a certain time period.
Yeah, certain time periods. Anyways, so Steve, are you a Civ guy?
No. I mean, I'm intrigued by it, but I've never actually played it.
Okay.
I was always a SimCity guy, so.
Is this up your alley?
This is more of a Cox thing, I believe.
Yeah, well,
I believe this
I'm
was
more of an Age of
historically
Empires
accurate.
guy.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I
Empires
think
is a pretty
they're
good fucking
actually, those are very similar.
They are. Civ
They
6
are?
and Age of Empire are extremely
But I
Age
similar.
think
of Empires
Microsoft-
2 was probably my favorite.
But I think Microsoft kind of fucked that.
And then there was
stuff.
Age of Myths,
Mythology was
mythology,
fucking
right?
sweet.
There was like you could be Zeus or
Oh, yeah, of course.
whoever. Thor, yeah. It was basically Smite.
It's Norse
I know
mythology.
what the last Civ, they was shit. Is this the same as the last Civ? 'Cause
This
it's
is
not
Civ
good.
6.
I don't
Yeah,
remember
this is
which
coming.
one they fucked up.
Yeah, it's coming to the
This
Switch.
is coming to the Switch. So
One of them they fucked up.
this
big
is
time.
maybe it's this
Is
one.
it this
I
one?
think it's this one.
Yeah.
We don't know. But
We're going to
That's too
find
bad.
out.
I
None
think
of us really can bring anything to this
yeah,
conversation.
not a whole lot. If you're excited
There's
about
not
Civ
many
6,
times you wish that Cox was here, but
I still don't, but
yeah, we can just move on.
Yeah, we are going to move
Actually,
on. Although I'm really hoping for an Animal Crossing in this direct. That's what
Yeah.
I'm really like. I'm really kind of feeling it.
we talked about that, the Pocket Camp kind of leading into it.
I think the direct. I don't know. There's
Well,
been
it's a
some leaks.
it's a worldwide direct.
I think it's the
Some band in S3.
the online shit.
Don't get your hopes up. Oh yeah, I mean it would
Metroid
make
Prime,
sense.
'cause it's
Don't
supposed to-
again.
Metroid coming out this year.
Not a fucking
December.
chance.
I did send you that.
I'm real excited
sent
for
you that text.
for Bill Gardner to have to pay for my goddamn copy.
Oh yeah, but I sent
I'm
you that
following
text
on Twitter.
which you
I'm
didn't
waiting for
respond
that
to, which
tweet.
I thought was funny.
What's up?
Remember that text I sent you?
Yeah.
About it because it's on Amazon
Yeah.
for like
It's a
November
placeholder.
20th.
It's December
I know
28th.
whatever it was. It's just funny. It's a joke.
Next piece of news that we have comes from Chris Welch over on The Verge. Sony Japan ends repairs services for the PlayStation 2 after 18 years. So Sony's Japan division has ceased repairs on the Nintendo, nope, on the PlayStation 2 console, as reported by Kotaku. Back in late June, the company put out a notice to local PS2 owners with a deadline requesting for one final repair. Customers had until August 31st to fill out an application for after-sale services, and now they've got until September 7th, which is today, as of this recording, to get their devices and any malfunctioning peripherals to the PlayStation Clinic Repair Depot. So this is
R.I.P.
Should've
yeah.
got mine in.
You should have got yours in. If you have a broken PS2, and still use it.
It's a great system.
I mean, it has great games, sure. You can almost get every game on, or every great game from that system on the PS4 now, so that's good. But I don't really have anything to say about that. I mean,
All right,
if
please.
my PS4
Okay,
shits
Forrest
the bed,
Gump.
and that's all I gotta say about that. Last piece of news that we have comes from Matthew Cato over at
I
Game
was
Informer.
right.
He shouldn't be hitting you, Jenny.
Life is like a box of chocolates.
Matthew Cato at GameInformer.com writes, THQ Nordic acquires the Kingdoms of Amalur property.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I figured you might like this one. So THQ has announced that it has picked
buying a lot of
up the
shit.
rights to Kingdom of Amalur, which was a property created by Kurt Schilling's now debunked 38 Studios out of
Yes.
Rhode Island. Yes. Yep. So this game came out in 2012 and was decent, according to Matthew Cato, but the faith of the developer was
Just-
more.
Yeah.
Decent.
Well, that's what he wrote. That's
It
what
was actually like really.
a lot of
fucking good.
people said it was like it has a pretty big
It was-
following.
He's underselling it.
I think he's underselling it a little.
Because
He is.
decent, I hear. Oh,
I think
I hear
I think
adequacy.
I see.
from news
I
radio, but
see
that's
what's
just
what's
me.
happening with this sentence. He's saying was decent, but the fate of the developer was more infamous. So he's saying
Yeah.
the game was good, but what's more important about this was the story
fact that
behind.
he stole all the
yeah.
money from Rhode Island to make the game,
And then the
didn't
game
sell as
didn't
well.
sell.
But
Yeah.
the game was like
Pretty good.
really. It was like Fable, which is with more enhanced combat. Like the graphics looked like Fable, but the combat was just
A lot of people.
Okay.
I don't know how true this was because I never played the game, but it was Fable with some Skyrim-esque things.
Yeah, it was a huge fucking world, and the combat was like,
Really good.
oh yeah, it was a really good game.
That's unfortunate that
Well, it's
Well,
still
I
alive
mean-
now. Yeah, you got to.
you never know. I mean, if they're gonna buy this property, maybe they re-release it, maybe they make a sequel to it, maybe they just
I could see a remaster.
yeah. I could definitely see a
See if
remaster.
like people are interested.
Yeah,
You know, do a remaster of it, put it on Switch maybe,
all of those things.
and see if people actually buy it, people like it, and then work on something else.
But then they forgot about what happened beforehand.
I mean, people don't forget it.
Really.
But it literally was one of those games that like it was very
Underrated
underrated.
for sure. It was
But it was like the infamy of Kurt Schilling
and his
stealing
bloody
all
sock.
that money
Yep.
You did sell that
from
sock.
Rhode Island to make this game. And I think they
was
projected
something
it to
like-
make like
'cause of shitty state.
crazy
Well,
money.
I think he
Brown sucks.
borrowed about $90 million to make the game, and then they didn't make that money back.
No, I mean I don't think he paid employees. He sold his house. He sold like the bloody sock. He sold like
Everything.
everything because of this game. But the game was actually good. It's
So-
just like you're a brand new developer. Like he set the bar like so fucking high and stole all his money from a state. It's probably not the best look.
Probably not the best
Early
look.
Elon Musk.
Hall of Fame.
Sure. Early Elon Musk.
But if they do a
Steals all the
remaster,
money
like
from
100%, I'd grab it.
Yeah. I mean, I would be interested to play it either a remaster or take it on the go on the Switch, like you said. But yeah,
I'm still hoping, this is off topic, Enslaved Odyssey to the West, just remaster the shit out of that.
Team
Send it.
Ninja could do it. They could definitely do it.
Top 5 game ever made.
Ever made.
Ever made.
Ever made.
Ever made.
Also, in the announced deal, THQ also picked up Project Copernicus, which is an unreleased MMORPG in the game's world. So
Like a
it
side project.
seems like it was a side project of Kingdoms of Amalur. So who knows? Maybe was Kingdom of Amalur's multiplayer at all?
No.
No. So it was all single player. Maybe they
single
had
player.
plans
Very big
to make
world.
it an MMORPG.
Like graphically, it
afterwards.
looked like Fable. Kind of had like a World of Warcraft.
Yeah, look to it. Yeah, for sure.
Look to it. So I could see an MMO
Mm-hmm.
coming of it. I think they're gonna remaster it.
I think that's
I
a
think the game
smart
is
bet
like
for sure.
very like
THQ's been
solid.
doing a lot of.
Yeah.
You remaster it with different marketing.
I think
Just
THQ.
like, take Kurt Schilling away.
The dark side.
I think THQ Nordic is picking up all of that
Old.
mid-tier games. So like your Darksiders, your Kingdoms of Amalur, you know, like they're not the big blockbuster AAA games, but they're that mid tier that used to be prevalent in the GameCube and early 360 before it started to die out.
No,
I think they're kind of picking up all of that slack and then trying to make those games or similar games.
I'm all for that.
Me too, because at this point it's either AAA blockbuster or indie game.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for that in between spot.
Yeah, you know, the $30 release, $40 release.
Yeah, I love that.
Immortal Unchained. You know, picked it up today.
There you go. It's perfect. And that was a quick news segment. I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like we've only did it for like 15 minutes.
Wasn't a lot
Steve-
of news.
Steve-
Quality over quantity.
Steve, do you got a filibuster for us?
Nope.
No, nothing.
Really?
I don't have an article in front of me. I know Fortnite's about to be.
That purple cube. What the hell's the deal with that purple cube?
I don't play Fortnite anymore, but I
Yeah.
just know it's about to be released in China. It's been banned there. They're working on getting it released there, and that might make the game explode even more.
I know Night Trap's on the way, so we'll see.
That
That's
review is
true.
coming soon.
Buster. Still
Where's that Majora's Mask review, Steve?
Still groundbreaking.
I went. I actually went back and read it. It's pretty good.
Still as good as ever.
Throw it up there.
Where?
You know what, Steve? You could throw it.
You know
That's a
what you do?
perfect
No, I
segue.
got
You can make
no,
an
yeah.
audio
No. This is what you
video review on YouTube.
do. You print down the best paper you can find. We'll hang it right up here.
The yellow wall.
It's not enough room. It's a long review.
It's a long, yeah.
We got space.
Yeah. We got space,
No
Steve.
green screen.
There's no green screen here. It's all wall.
I get a banner.
One day we'll make its appearance.
No.
Probably not.
But I think that's going to be it for the Drunken News, and I think that's going to be it for another great episode of the Tangent Podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you hear and like what you see, please go over to youtube.com/pixelatedpoints, subscribe to us there, or go over to twitch.tv/pxlpts. Hit that subscribe and follow button. Give us your money, or give it to Gary over here. Gary, what is your
You guys
twitch.tv
heard of
slash?
Amazon Prime?
Tell
Have you,
me.
Steve? You have an Amazon Prime account?
I do.
All right.
But
Well,
I
do you
give
know
it-
that if you link your Amazon Prime account,
I know how it works, and I give it to
Twitch.
Mitch Flower Power because he's a Super Mario Brothers 3 runner. So
That's
you'll never get it.
unfortunate.
Wow.
But yes, you can find me on Twitter at GHines25.
And you can follow me on Twitter at It's a Me BT. Anthony, you are
At Margin_Erebus.
God Mike back there.
At Steven_Sal.
And the website is at PXLPTS or at Tangent_podcast. Or if you're an Instagram guy, you can just go to Tangent Podcast, all one word.
Pictures, Steve.
Yeah, we missed those pictures, Steven. We missed
So
them.
good.
Nothing in the wild anymore.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no games of the wild.
We'll get close to it now. The summer was hot.
Caught them
Yeah.
off.
Now it's
They're all
fall time.
hibernating.
Fall's my.
We're gonna
peak
get
time
it.
for
We're gonna get a whole lot of old school stuff. You're gonna get some Animal Crossing things for sure. I'm pretty
Oh,
positive.
we don't know about that.
We don't know any of that.
We'll see what happens.
Speculation.
We'll see what happens.
All sources. Sources. Thank
Might
you
get-
guys so much for watching another episode. We'll catch you guys next week.
On the tangent.
King DJ, I do it for you, and it's fucking